going on? So the video gonna be about David Ortiz got picked to the Baseball Hall of Fame, but no Barry Bonds and no Roger Clemens. And my reaction is didn't David Ortiz test positive for drugs, steroids, after the fact that Bonds and Clemens were long gone? Hmm. And he's a DH. When did they start falling in love with designated hitters? Didn't it take Edgar Martinez a long time to get some love to get in? Now, this is the 10th and final time on the regular vote, so it'll probably be like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years before Bonds and Clemens get in. Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player I've ever seen in my life. Best hitter ever, most dominant player. And it wasn't just because he was a big bat and he could just hit home runs. The guy stole bases, walks, hit for average, beyond hitting for power, had a glove too, all around 5-tool player. And I know it's gonna break some of them King Griffey Jr. people hearts with it. Look, Griffey Jr. was a natural great talent, but he be coming across fake to me. He wasn't better than Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds mopped the floor with him as far as putting it down. Barry Bonds made teammates better. Okay? He dominated. He was great. The reason why Bonds was a Hall of Famer before you even got to Frisco, okay? He was 400. But he didn't kiss white folks' behind in the media. And they hated him for it. He took a cue from his father, the great Bobby Bonds. Never gave him the time of day. So when you factor in the other stuff, then they'll use that. Even though he never was suspended, nothing was charged. Same with Roger Clemens. Clemens was beasting with Boston. Went to Toronto. Added a couple new pitches. Went to the Yankees. He kept winning rings. He was dominant. Went to Houston. And that guy is one of the greatest pitchers ever, if not the GOAT. Well, in his lifetime, in his era. But, this is what they do. But David Ortiz, who's a designated hitter, who worked for Major League Baseball Network, and they've allowed him to manipulate the situation. I respect him, Big Papi, as a hitter, even though, as a Yankee fan, he got over. But what's special about him before you put Bonds and Clemens in? As a matter of fact, if he gets in and Bonds and Clemens don't get in, then the Hall of Fame is rigged and is a bad joke. Well, it already is. It's been proven to be racist. A bunch of stiff white dudes who, obviously are stuck in some fakery of going by what rules exactly? What rules? Can't even respect no sport. They ain't never had no black commissioner, black ownership. Come on now. Was racially segregated until Jackie Robinson broke the color line and Larry Doby did in 47. So it's not exactly like you can sit around on a high horse and act like you can implement rules or this or that when you haven't even governed a fair balance field. But Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame before some David Ortiz. I don't care if he did come up clutch with 3 rings and help the Red Sox and all that. He still is just as much as probably even more suspicious because unlike those guys, he was pretty much a designated hitter. Now imagine if Barry Bonds had just been a DH. He might have 1,000 home runs. I mean, that's just a fact. And Clemens was Clemens. So, what is your criteria? But he's a cat that comes from another country. He ain't gonna put up much of a fight or a fuss. They cool with that. There is a double standard within the code. And they figure like, hey, we kill off the black dude, white dude, we won't have a racial conflict. But then we have another conflict. But there is no way David Ortiz goes into Hall of Fame before Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, especially when he got stuff in his bags. His laundry ain't all clean. Please hit the like, that subscribe, welcome thoughts and comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for one another, and there's 99 reasons why a lot of people turned off baseball because they got their own so-called rules about what they want to do. This one is embarrassing and a bad joke. And I ain't really paying baseball no mind until Barry Bonds gets in the Hall of Fame. So even though I was a Yankee fan, I watch, but I don't really care because they've always been racist, backwards, and they are a bad joke. And this makes no sense. I'm out.